Trade tensions easing at least for today as the US and China extend their tariff truce by another 90 days. The two superpowers have hit pause, buying time to resolve tough trade disputes. And Clark Jennings stayed with us. He's Managing Director Asia of Crowell Global Advisors. Now, because I just said that, buying time to resolve tough trade disputes is worth reminding ourselves, which we did earlier in the bulletin, that is not just trade disputes.
These are not. These are an unorthodox approach to a much broader set of issues that Trump is crowding into these discussions, ranging from national security matters, witness the technological fights and access to equipment with China, to blatantly political ones. We saw that Brazil took a particular hard hit based over Trump's grievances over the treatment of former President Bolsonaro. It is, I think, a testament to the power of the tariff in Trump's hands. This is a blunt tool that he's using as a cudgel to wield and hold over the head of partners around the world to bring them to the table on a range of matters that would not normally be in a traditional trade negotiation.
The problem is you bring them to the table today, you might keep them there for a few months, but these relationships are a long time in the making, and they're very easy to break very quickly. How does this alter? I mean, we say this, and I'm not certain to what degree this is necessarily true. We are looking at a great rebalancing, a great reshaping of the global trade landscape. How would you even begin to describe that?
I think the fascinating thing is that may be true and that all parties may agree to that, but for different reasons. So we know President Trump's line. Let's remember, he sees the world mostly in a zero-sum fashion. He believes if other countries are profiting off American sales, that we are getting ripped off. He doesn't see the win-win side of it. So yes, Trump argues, as Jamie Greer did in the New York Times, that there needs to be a rebalancing. But the irony is that the Chinas, the Brazils, as you saw in the conversation between Xi and Lula, they see opportunity here. Singapore has been a leader in global trade and discussions. They see opportunity here. So there are going to be a reorienting of alliances, witness the BRICS and those discussions amongst Global South partners. There's going to be reorganization of supply chains. And the question is who's best positioned to capitalize that. I'm not sure that this White House is fighting the right battle to do so.
Even under the Biden administration, I'm staying on that point. There were questions, there were criticisms raised that Washington is falling far behind on trade policy, certainly on Asia. When they pulled out, Mr. Trump in his first term pulled out of then the TPP and now become the CPTPP, without U.S. inclusion, there were accusations that you are not engaging in something that is very important, certainly here in Asia. Could the rest of the world move on? And we've seen that in just the last few months, deepening trade agreements, speeding up talks on free trade agreements with each other without participation from the world's largest economy.
The rest of the world is moving on, and they will continue to move on. Let's be very clear about that. Now, this gets into a broad issue of domestic political concerns in the United States. I worked on working to, present the TPP trail deal to the United States Congress. The political constituency for trade in America has effectively dropped out. Republican, Democrat, bipartisan, it does not matter. That is a hard case to make, and it's going to be a hard road to get the U.S. back into the driver's seat. But the rest of the world is continuing to press on. Globalization may be a bad word in some corners, but the integration of the global economy is going to continue, and it's going to continue at an even more rapid pace with digitalization, with technological advancement. It is much easier to deploy AI models across borders than it is to ship soybeans. And so economies are going to continue to find ways to cooperate, particularly in services, particularly on digitally driven industries, on the industries of the future. And the U.S. has to find a way to get back to the table. It may not be TPP. It may not be traditional FTAs. Trump is shaking up that conversation for sure. But it's got to find a model and a pathway. And I'm not yet sure that we have the answer to that.
So Jameson Greer's point in his op-ed is that Mr. Trump has found the unique formula to shake up a sclerotic global trade system. A final question here, but for you, the long-term pain and cost, and you have been hinting at this, not just right now, but early on the bulletin, it's at this point incalculable. Or can you try to calculate it for us? Final question.
It's hard to calculate. I think we have to think about it on a couple of fronts. Number one, I don't think we yet know the full impact on the American economy. A lot of this data, let's remember the U.S. Customs is only now effectively collecting the tariffs on a lot of these countries starting last week. I think a lot of companies made a tactical or a strategic decision based on market concerns that they were going to eat some of those costs. That's not sustainable in the long run. Tariffs are inflationary. That's a basic economic law, and we're going to see that impact soon. But more broadly, I think the takeaway and the message that we're sending to any American would-be ally is that America is no longer the reliable, trusted trading partner that we were. And as we've discussed, I think he is trying to use that tariff, that blunt weapon, to hold leverage over would-be partners and critical allies around the world. Tariffs are a blunt tool. They're not meant to address this wide range of issues that are pressing in today's global economy. And my ultimate fear is that the Trump White House is fighting yesterday's war. And consequently, by doing so, we are not equipping America for the economy of tomorrow.
All right. In fact, our emphasis on deals, we're looking at an administration that might not, in fact, want to reach any deal at all, because that means an end to leverage. Thanks so much for coming this evening, Mr. Clark Jennings, Managing Director, Asia of Crowell Global Advisors. Thank you.